The year was 1990. I was a full-time college professor. I was a volunteer at my children's school, and I was feeling not the same as I always felt. And I thought, something's not quite the way it should be. And I went to the doctors, and I was told that it was clinical depression. It all culminated on Mother's Day, 1990. I had 3 healthy children, a loving husband, a beautiful home, and money in the bank, when this thing called depression came knocking at my door. I had never been depressed before. I'd been up most of the night, and it was about 6:30, and my husband was starting to get up, and I turned to him and he said, "Good morning, happy Mother's Day." And I said, "Russ, you have to come with me, you and the children, because nobody can love the kids the way I love them, and nobody will love you the way I love you." And I tried to convince my husband of over 25 years that this hopelessness that I felt, that was all consuming, could only be taken away if I went away. The next day was my first day in a psychiatric hospital. I spent 38 days there. For the first 27 days, they doused me with every medication and nothing worked. See, I was on suicidal watch. And they said, the only thing we think that's going to help you is ECT. Now, for those that don't know what that is, that's shock therapy, electroconvulsive therapy. Well, I'm not having that. If I have that, I'll never be able to go back to teaching. And I resisted it until one very empathetic nurse sat with me and said, "I've never seen a family more dedicated than yours. You've got to try something." And so I did. And for me, shock therapy was my silver bullet. Today, some 18 years later, that beast has knocked 3 more times. 3 more hospitalizations, and over 50 shock treatment later, I'm here to stand in front of you to tell you, even with clinical depression, recovery is possible.
I have been overwhelmed by the way that she reaches people in all different fields, but especially in the mental health field. She, from her own personal experiences over the years with the depression that she suffered from, she's able to reach out to people and connect on a personal level, whereas a lot of other speakers who have not had personal experiences with depression would not be able to do that.
Listening to her share her story about how she has struggled for years with clinical depression and going through the hospitalizations and the ECT treatments, and for her to stand up there and so courageously be so vulnerable to us. It just makes you feel like that you can be vulnerable and you can share, and if you're struggling with any depression, that you can get help and you can talk about it without being ashamed of yourself.